My name is Neil Wachs. I'm an actor. I want to be comedian if I was funny, but I can't sing and I can't dance, so I act. And hopefully the following interview is enjoyable. And Keith is an awesome man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's available on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all social medias. It is Season 12, Episode 86. That's right, 1,186 episodes available on YouTube under the name Keith Andrew Network. Our guest already introduced himself, so the first subject we're going to talk about is icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an actor. I was actually in the beauty industry for 40 years, and I retired and was basically not wanting just to sit around and do nothing. So I took a job to be an audience member for a game show because it paid like $35. I said, sure, I might as well do that. My wife's a teacher. She's at work. I'm at home, and I figured, I'd rather make $35 and keep busy. And from there, somebody recommended that I do background work. So I said, why not? And I didn't really think it was going to happen because I didn't. And what happened was I got a job right away doing Winning Time on HBO for background. I really enjoyed it. And then a couple of agencies, they charged, but they asked me to join their agencies, and I could submit for jobs. And I thought, yeah, I'll do it. I'm not expecting to work. I said, hey, you know what? If I can do a job every month or so, I'll be happy and try to find something else to do. And then from there, it just started snowballing. I started getting work every week, and then 2 or 3 times a week. Then I got speaking roles. Then it just got really busy for me. And I can't believe it. I didn't dream that I'd ever be doing this. And here I am on your show, which is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm really happy for you. So what was that very first moment when you got in did you approach them or did they approach you?
Well, I actually got I answered an ad, which you really shouldn't do, on Facebook to be an audience member. And from there, I guess these companies got my email address, and that's when they sent me out emails saying, hey, we noticed you did audience member. Would you like to do the next step, which is background work? So they sent me the email, and I applied for the jobs.
Now, how would someone with disabilities, or even someone who doesn't have disabilities, if they want to become famous and follow in your footsteps, is there any websites you would recommend? So the next subject we're going to talk about is social media. As you mentioned, Facebook. Were you hesitant about when you saw it on Facebook? Well, anyone can post anything and it sounds great and you blow smoke up someone's ass. And you see those promos where people are like, hey, give me 2 minutes of your time. You got 10 seconds? We can get you on TV. We can get you featured on all these hit TV shows, Fox News. And I tried them, and they always try to hook, line, and sinker. They tell you everything you want to hear. And at the end, oh, by the way, that's got to be $900. Oh, by the way, that's got to be $1,500. So there's always, and that's the one thing about my show. When I approach people to be on my show, I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. By you being on my show, you're supporting a talk show host with a disability. Now, that's as far as it goes. By you being on the show, I'm supporting you, and I'm supporting your message and your statement, and everything that you want to promote. So it's a transaction. You're helping me, and I'm helping you. That's the difference between anyone who says, hey, give me 2 minutes, give me 5 minutes of your time. And at the end, they sandbag you, not in that way, but they sandbag you and they say, oh, I forgot to mention, you have to pay us.
Well, the main thing is, well, there's a couple of answers to what you originally asked. I joined Casting Network and Backstage because, and what I would recommend is ask questions. Like when I was on my very, very first job, and I met some great people that I'm friends with to this day, and this was like 2.5 years ago. Just ask questions and just say, "Hey, how did you get this job? What agencies do you use? What people should I stay away from? Or what companies are scammers?" So I always recommend ask a million questions. And then the other one is Google. There's a few companies out there. You Google their names and you read the reviews and the red flags there, like do not join it. This is a scam. And so you got to do your homework and don't pay any money until you do your homework and make sure it's legit.
I think I only got one bad review on my fan page, and I would like to take it down, but I can't. Well, long story about it. Guys like, oh, if I do your show, can you give me IMDb credit? I don't know how to do that. I mean, okay, someone made, yes, I do have an IMDb account. Someone made it for me, but I have no idea how to give someone credit. Now, if you're capable of saying, whatever, you can give yourself credit, go right ahead. Go, I really don't give a damn. But if you're gonna force it on me and saying, well, you promised me this, I don't promise people things I can't deliver. You know, would I like to give you IMDb credit? Yes. Am I capable of doing that? No. But that's the fact people like to take advantage of you. And I bet people take advantage of you all the time because I fall in that category. And if they're like, okay, well, if you give me this, I'm gonna do this for you. And then they slowly stretch it out. And how far more can they take from you until you realize I never agreed to any of those terms?
So
So
yeah, so just not to interrupt you there for a second, but so yeah, that person down at the Starbucks when I was drinking my coffee and came up to me and said, "You know what? I can make you the biggest star, bigger than anybody. All it costs is to get some headshots, $500. We'll get some headshots from you, pay me up front, and you'll be a star within a year." I kind of thought maybe that was a scam. You
yeah,
got it. But going back to your IMDb page, I manage myself and I manage my own page, and it's part of my responsibility as an actor and to promote myself is to keep that page up to date.
right.
So any actor would know that, and it's nice if the production companies add you, but I don't wait for that. So it's really easy. You just go to the page of the production you're on, and you add yourself as a cast member, and it's done. It's really simple and easy, and that's it.
Personally, I would take the whole thing down, the IMDb, and let's do it over from scratch because there's a lot of spelling errors. When you say my name, Keith Andrew Network, it's one word. There's no spaces. It's just Keith Andrew Network. And the person who did, I'm thankful that the person did it for me. But I mean, couldn't you just ask me for the correct spelling and the correct year? Because if you look at it, he said, you've been doing this for 12 and a half years. But this website says you've been doing this since 18. So it's kind of, I can't, and it antagonizes me because I can't fix it without paying for it. And it's kind of like, if there's a way to take the whole damn thing down and do it from scratch, that would be so much wonderful. But talking about disabilities, and first, you are an inspiration. Not kissing your butt or anything. You are an inspiration because you accomplished so many things in your life, and you are an actor. So I take my hat off to you because you are an inspiration for people who have disabilities and without disabilities. What were some of your biggest challenges that you had to overcome?
Well, I have a speech impediment, and a lot of people think that I'm either from New York or England or someplace. No one really says, "Oh, do you have a speech impediment?" But I do. When I was younger, I went to speech school all throughout elementary school, which is kind of a weird feeling when you're in class and everybody's sitting down and they go, "Oh, Neil, it's your turn to go to the office," and everyone looks at you not knowing why, and I know that the reason being is going to speech class. The one time my parents took me to have some people thought my tongue. This is not a joke, but it almost sounds like one that my tongue was too big for my mouth. So they thought that's why I was speaking the way I was speaking, and so they took me to have that checked out at at a hospital. And this is when maybe I was 10, 11 years old. So, and the funny part of all this is I didn't talk the first 4 years of my life, which is kind of unusual for at that age. And now I can't stop talking. So even though I have a speech impediment, I don't let it stop me from talking, as my wife would tell you, and my friends, and everybody would tell you he doesn't stop talking.
Yeah,
So
we have that in
he,
common.
yeah, I mean, so even though everybody has different disabilities, you can't let it stop you. And same thing when I audition for part or if I have a job where there's talking involved, I'm kind of conscious of it. I go, God, I hope they understand what I'm saying, but that doesn't stop me from going ahead and doing it. You just have to go ahead and do it.
No, that's why I wear the filter glasses. It's because when I'm nervous, I blink. I blink too much. I looks like I have freaking Tourette's. But I also like the filter glasses because it gives you like a mask. It kind of gives you confidence and make you feel like you're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're just trying to make like a certain look for yourself. And you mentioned when you slur your words, I do that too when I get really nervous because I suffer from depression and social anxiety. And there are some episodes where my learning disability of the show, talk show host is a disability, I like to hide it. Um, my disability shows more, and I feel embarrassed because I try to be, you know, like my dad, or I try to be like my brother, or I try to be like my sister, or I try to be someone who I'm not. And when you hit that verbal mental block, your disability shows more because you're setting yourself up for failure. And yes, I talk with my hands. You don't try to be a carbon copy of someone who you admire. You think about them, but you put your own spin onto it. Now, do you feel the same way?
Um, yes and no. I don't know. To be honest, I try to be just who I am, which is, I am who I am. I'm a character, obviously, not a character actor, just a character in general. And I just hope that people, and they do, they accept me, and they, yeah. When I was younger, some people made fun of me, but it was more like, oh well, they made fun of me. I just for some reason it was built into me to move on and not to take it personally. So I try not to overthink it. And a lot of times, I believe it or not, I get compliments. People say, "Oh, I love your accent," and where are you from? And after a while, I get tired of saying I got a speech impediment. So then I just say, "Yeah, I'm from back east. I'm from England. I'm from." So
Me too.
I, yeah, I just kind of mask it that way. And God, I hope you're not nervous talking to me. You don't seem nervous, but when you say you get nervous, I hope you don't.
No, it's what I mean is Not to while you're kind of calling me out on it, but I'm not going to be an asshole about it, dance around it. I'm very sensitive when it comes to with people with disabilities. Now, with that being said, there's different levels of disabilities. If I saw someone with no arms and no legs or half a face, I can't do this. I mean, I can interview you with my eyes closed, but then when I have to edit it, I have to watch it. It's like a knife. It cuts right through me. But if you're just a normal person and that's what you are, and that's what I am, I don't see it. You know what I mean? So there's certain,
Right,
it's like you're flipping a switch. There's certain intensities that it's certain sometimes. I don't care if you have a freaking speech impediment. I have a speech impediment. I swear my words. But I'm saying if you had no arm, you're like, hey, look at me, I have no arm, and you're shoving it in people's faces, that's where I'm like, okay, now you're making it uncomfortable. But if you're
right.
just having a normal conversation, I don't give a shit. You know, it's just one of those things where you're people like to jam, not in that way, jam it in front of your face and say, hey, look at me. I have this, I have half a face. Then you're making an issue out of it. But if you're just having a normal conversation, no one cares. And you know, and you're making a good impression on me, and I'm hoping I'm making a good impression on you. And I don't mean to come off like an asshole or anything, but it's just I'm very sensitive when it comes to certain things. That doesn't mean I'm a horrible person. It just means I have a hard time expressing myself and hiding my emotions.
My wife has a catchphrase, and it's one. She has three of them. One of them is "You're allowed," and I love that one. I use that one all the time. It's very to me, it's very inspirational, and it fits a lot of categories. And you're allowed to feel that way. And I tell myself that a lot when I'm feeling a certain way, and I'm allowed. And just like you're allowed to feel that way, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the next subject I want to talk about last night on Peacock was WWE Elimination Chamber. And for anyone who's a big fan of WWE, go to Peacock. I think it's like $9.99 a month. Maybe it's like $13 a month. Peacock has a tremendous, great library of content. So make sure to watch Peacock and WWE. Also, it's available on Netflix every Monday. It's WWE Monday Night Raw. Now, with that being said, next subject I want to talk to you about is the coronavirus. How has the coronavirus impacted your life, and do you see life in a different point of view?
Well, the virus, at the time when the virus was hitting, I owned my own business and we had to shut down for a few months. So at that time, yeah, it affected my life big time. And it kind of led me to where I am at today because of the virus and then the internet. It was a retail beauty supply, beauty salon, but people were buying products online, et cetera, et cetera. So that's when I decided to retire from the industry. So the virus itself at that time affected me. At this time, right now, I try not to think about it. It's still affecting a lot of people. People are coming down with it, but I guess it's kind of like the flu. But I try not to get into the conspiracy of it or who's to blame and this and that. I just, I deal with it with it as it's happening. And right now, it's well, everybody's back at work hopefully and out and you know. So right now, I have to say right now, and this could change tomorrow. Right now, it's not affecting me, thank God.
There's a line from Kung Fu. I like the first two of Kung Fu Panda. And he expresses it as yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it a present.
I mean, I know it's a cliche, and that I go day by day, moment by moment. But, obviously you have to do some planning because, you get a job in the future, you have to take it or decline it and blah, blah, blah. But I try and stay in the moment as the best I can. I know you can never be 100% in the moment, but I try and, because like I said, the virus, all of a sudden they could say, "Oh, a new virus is hitting," and blah blah blah, and that could happen tomorrow. So I really, on the big picture stuff, I try and go day by day.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Here in the Keith Andrew Network, we encourage people to be vaccinated. It's very important to be vaccinated. Unfortunately, with freaking Robert Kennedy in charge, he wants to pull all the vaccines. So God forbid there's another pandemic, we're gonna be screwed. And it's gonna be like, who's in charge? Him or the stupid worm eating his brain? It's kind of like, look, if you don't want to be vaccinated, don't go out and broadcast it. That's your own opinion. But doing the right thing, it's being vaccinated. Now, with that being said, with climate change and with the ice melting and all this other shit happening to the earth, yes, there will be new virus coming out, like the bird flu that we're currently dealing with, and the what was it, the H1V1, whatever the hell it is. There's always going to be something, but the biggest thing is we have to take care of each other and we have to be vaccinated. That's the most important thing. Not to talk about politics, but that's how I feel.
Well, and again, I don't like to talk politics per se, but here's the bet coming in here. Um, my biggest thing with political stuff right now, the biggest virus, in my opinion, right now is just the hate in the country, and that to me, I'm from the '60s and '70s. Peace, love one another, get along, tease each other, have a good time. And right now, the biggest virus that's just killing us mentally is the hate that's going around in the world. And it's just, and I'm not, it, people say, "Oh, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're this," and it's like, no, I'm independent, and I just want people to not hate on each other. And again, going back to my wife saying, people are allowed to feel the way they feel. That they're allowed, but don't hate people for feeling different than what you and I are feeling. They're allowed, and but just don't bring in that hate. And it just pains me to see people losing friendship, family members, etc., just because they have a disagreement. I understand it though, but it's just sad, and to me is a big virus going on.
You can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4.
Say that again.
So the next one I want to ask you is song of the day. What is some of your favorite songs, and what are some of your favorite bands wrapping up the show?
Well, I got to preface this with a story. Every time I go to a concert with my wife, and in order to play one of my favorite songs, and I would turn to her and say, "Oh, I can't believe they're doing this. This is one of my all-time favorite songs." And my wife would turn to me and say, "You say that all the time." So I decided to make a list. So, and it's a great exercise if people have time to do it. To me, it's awesome. And I made a list, and it changes. It's not a list that obviously it can change. And I made a list of my all-time 50 favorite songs. And some of them people might look at it and go, "Oh my God, really?" But it might have meaning to me. It might be the song that they played at my, first time I kissed somebody, it might be my song for my wedding. So there's some songs on there that people might say, "That song, I can't picture you liking that song." But now when I'm at a concert and I turn to my wife and I say, "Oh, this is one of my favorite songs," she goes, and she says, "You say that every time." I can say, "No, when we get home, I'm going to show you. It really is on my top 50 list." And with that said, I'm a big Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, um, crazy fan of them. I saw Springsteen before you were alive in 1975 at the Roxy, and been a fan ever since. So Springsteen and Neil Young and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, some of my favorite artists that just I relate to and grew up with, and the soundtrack of my life. So
You would
And
think that,
some of their songs really are my top 50 list. Thunder Road, baby.
absolutely. You would think that is funny. I saw Billy Joel in concert. He was really good. And I'm not, when I go to a concert, I like to sit down and just enjoy it. I'm not one of those type of people who have to freaking stand up every time everyone else stands up. So did you ever see these two heavyset women who sat in front of me? So as soon as they stood up, I felt like saying, "God damn it! I didn't pay $400 to come to this concert to not see anything." It's
Right.
kind of like I don't know. That's just me, but
And just so you know, New York State of Mind is on my top 50 list by Billy Joel.
no, I that's a good one, and I like. Well, now I'm drawing a blank. There's something called Piano Man's really good.
Piano Man is on the border of being top 50. It's funny. I'd have to go check my list, but it's right there. That song could move up or off the list as the years go by, but New York State of Mind is definitely in my top 50.
I have to tell you, I was in ShopRite with my dad a couple days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Scorpions, I'm living in a fantasy world. I never heard it before, but I do like Scorpion. No, no, I'm sorry, not Scorpion. Actually, it was, yeah, Scorpions was one band that played. Survivor was another band that was really good. I'm living in a fantasy world. Those are two of my favorites. But wrapping up, I want you to be brutally honest. When I approached you to be, well, you approached me, but whatever. When I approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people? Be brutally honest.
Um, I would definitely recommend it. This has been an awesome experience. When I forget where we found each other. I did some research. Went to your page. One of my friends, I think I mentioned it to you that did an interview with you, and she was awesome. And I did, I went and checked to see, okay, is this legit, or is he going to hit me up for money after it comes out? I did research like I always do, and I was intrigued by doing this, and I'm just really glad I did this because this has been a really great experience. And like I said, I've only been doing this for 2.5 years, so this is, I've done a couple of podcasts before, but every one that I've done it's to me it's a new experience. So it's been awesome, and yeah, I would recommend it. And if anybody has any questions, I'm on Instagram. Send me a message, and I will tell whoever it is, get on your show. It's awesome.
Absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But our goal for this episode and all our episodes is 500 and more views. I will share it everywhere, and you're obligated to share it everywhere. And once you reach your goal of 500 views, we will definitely do a part two. Now, with that being said, this will be shared on all social medias. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And until next time, I catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night. Supporting me, and my message is all that matters.